About halfway through year 9, my parents decided to move to Ballarat. They weren't aware of, how I was going off the rails a little bit. So we moved to Ballarat and I started at Loreto, and from day one it was so different to what I'd experienced, I guess, in Bendigo. I got in with a different crowd of girls. They were all really studious. They were actually doing their homework. They were turning up to school. So that was a huge influence on me. And for the first time, I think, in a long time, I thought, oh, well, maybe I can actually go right through to VCE, because at that stage, I was dropping out after year 10. I went down the pathway that lots of girls went down in the late 70s, and a lot of my friends became teachers, and nurses was sort of the two big things that, that we chose, I suppose. So I taught for a long time, 20 years in the classroom, teaching secondary school science. Loved it, absolutely loved it. But got to the point where I guess I was looking for something else. So became an empty nester. So my 3 sons left home, and all of a sudden I had this free time. So after school, weekends, I had this period of time that I never had before. And that's when I started my company, 15 Trees. It was the background, I guess. There was no great, light bulb moments of, oh my God, I must do biology, or I must become a teacher, or I understand more about social justice. It was like an underpinning of everything. And it's only now, like 40 years later, that I can really appreciate what that education was, and how a lot of young people, a lot of young girls actually don't get that education. And that confidence in girls, you can do anything, we'll support you in it, that sort of thing was really powerful. And I guess I took it for granted. I just assumed that was how it was. But it wasn't until years later that I realised that not everyone had that background, not everyone had the education, and not everyone had that confidence to say, I'm going to give this a go and try something, completely different. So when I was here at Loreto, social justice was the underpinning thing of all our classes, particularly our RE classes. And I think at the time, it probably didn't resonate so much. It was just the normal. It was just, we were interested in social justice, we were interested in women, we were interested in the environment as well. And it didn't click with me, I suppose, until years later, that it actually did have an impact on me. So it sort of slowly seeped into my pores, I think, and became, as I said, something that sits there, but it wasn't a light bulb moment that, all of a sudden, oh, this is social justice and, I'm part of it. Coming back from Antarctica, it absolutely had an effect on me and how I want to live my life more sustainably. So before I left, I was semi-vegetarian. Now, I want to make the statement that I'm fully vegetarian, because being a vegetarian has a huge impact on your carbon footprint. So I'm going to be more vegetarian. So these are the things I want to do. I want to get out my bike more and be more of a bike commuter, public transport, all those things that I know make a difference. Getting girls into science is crucial to getting women into science careers, and also getting women into or onto those decision-making tables, so either at schools or universities, in companies as well. So we want to increase the number of women doing science, particularly in secondary school, but also choosing science as a career. At the moment, it's pretty much a boys' club. The women I was talking to found it very hard to stay in science as an academic career. It was not family friendly, it was not children friendly, for those sorts of reasons. So I started the Polar Girls Club as really a way of engaging young girls into the journey that I was going on. So around the Grampians region, I've got a handful of primary schools who were interested in what I was doing. So I'm going out to visit them over the next few weeks and talk about my journey. A couple of schools I visited before I went, and they had some questions for me to ask some of the scientists. So I've got on video some of the scientists talking to Skipton Primary School and Clunes, and talking to the girls and actually answering their questions. So they gave me a list of science questions to take, and specific photos I had to take as well. And so it's just engaging them, particularly in primary school, because they're so keen. You know, they love this idea of, you know, women going out on a ship together on this adventure. So they're a great audience, and so I'll keep that going with the Polar Girls Club, and yeah, hopefully we can keep that connection. And it's just another little way of engaging girls into science. Well, I figure I've been to the South Pole. I reckon I might have to go north. So I reckon I might have to go up to the Antarctic Circle is my next trip. So maybe, you know, next year or something. So looking at climate change, because the two poles are, they're the early warning signs, I suppose, of what's happening to our Earth in regards to climate change. So I've been south, I've had a look around there. I reckon it's time to head north and have a look up there, and perhaps do something, yeah, maybe longer than 3 weeks, and yeah, do some filming and talk to people about climate change, yeah, in the Northern Hemisphere. So I reckon I'm heading north.